Okay, boom. Like it's the UFC and you hold up the...
Here I go.
That's the reaching section is over. 2020 clamps. 2019 has been an amazing year for clamps across the industry, right? Everybody has had a go at their clamps. We all understand what the limitations. I've got them here, yeah? I got them.
So you want the video?
No, I think I'll go the video on schedule, right? So the video will come in, Martin. So I'm just going to give you a little history. When we started in China, we made a poll and we found clamps that were copies of the Brodex clamp. Brodex is a UK brand. We didn't know there were copies of a Brodex clamp, but that's what we found. Then we found a general clamp. We found a factory that had a clamp mold, and so we used that general clamp. So those of you who had black clamps with red levers, that was our general clamp, but actually the mold belonged to somebody else. Then we realized, that was 2012. 2013, we made the tough clamps. Now the tough clamps was our first attempt at clamps, and they had some things right and they had a couple of things wrong, especially when we went to the UK, because the UK guys put their poles up and down way more than anybody else, and they did all sorts of weird rotational torque things that the balance of the industry doesn't do. But that's a technique thing, and that was fine. And so the tough clamps, we had to learn a lot really quickly about the tough clamps. 2015, we released the Rhino clamp. Rhino clamp in the first year had 27 mold changes and materials changes, right? So we're learning all the way along, and we have to make the clamps, throw away those ones, put the new ones in, throw away those, put the new ones in. Every time we learn something. So it's a really, really big learning curve, right, to try and make a clamp. So that's why you'll see that not many companies change their clamps very often. And then in 2019, we can tell you that we'll release the 2020 clamps. The enemy of the clamp is rotational torque, right? And rotational torque is formed by the old brushes, the broom style brush, right? Because when you're working at heights, a guy wants to turn the pole, right? Twist the pole and squirt the water, because he's got to get the brush off the glass, so he's trying to squirt the water across. So there's all sorts of rotational torque or rotational load. And obviously the other one is just your longitudinal load. You don't want the pole to collapse, right? But, and basically there's some movement. You're opening, closing, opening, closing, opening, closing, opening, closing, and so you see this potential for the clamp to loosen itself off, right? So those are the enemies of the clamp and the challenges that we have to work. Slow down. I can talk. All right. So what do we want? We want a no pinch, right? If the pole does drop, I mean, that doesn't happen to the guys once you've had a pole for a while. You won't let that happen. But when you're a newbie, the pole can drop pretty quickly on you. We want a smooth action on the lever. We want the ability to never have to adjust the lever, right? Once we set the clamp and it's exactly right, then we never want to adjust it again. And in our opinion, we want external tube. When a company puts a tube inside the pole, they take away the ability to pull the pole apart, and they take away the ability to put extensions in the pole. So you end up buying multiple poles, right? So the fixed length poles, in my opinion, is not economical, and it's also, there's all sorts of things that we don't agree with. So what do we want is we want to have a look at what is the 2020 clamp. So let's go to video.
I came from the mud, there's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree, there's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon. They sing on a sleepless night. Try to catch me howling at the moon. Try to catch me howling at the moon.
right, so I'm holding here a tactical with the 2020 clamps on there, and there's some things that I can show you just really from a distance, right? Is that here you might be able to see like the finger bolts. Now what we've done is we've changed where the clamp adjusts. And so if we open a clamp, right, and we close the clamp, I'm not going to go through too much detail, but I'll just show you just quickly. The bolt is actually going into the finger tightener, and in there is a nylon locking nut. So we're adjusting the clamp tension in here. Now in between here and here is a set of like teeth, if you imagine that, right? So as soon as you set it, it can't move. Right, so once you've set, I promise you, once you set this clamp, it will never loosen off. And the lever is now a real cam lever. I love the click. I love the positive auditory confirmation that this clamp is locked. But as a physics thing, what that was doing was taking it through a high point into a low point and then into a high point again. And that was giving the clamp a little bit of grief. Right, even though, like, you know, most guys who have, you know, reacher clamps love the reacher clamps, yeah? But, so the other one we've done, like, just really quickly, we know we had a pinch zone. If the guy's got their hands in there, again, you don't do that very often, right? You don't really put your fingers in there too far close, right? But now we've taken away that pinch zone, we've beveled the edges, we've taken the sharpness out of the point, but we've kept what we think is beautiful, right, is the ability to put your pole away looking stunning. We've changed tube runner, maybe I'll put it this way, right? We've changed tube runner now, so it's coming out suited to high flow. So the high flow is a 10mm tube. I can't remember what it is in Imperial, but it's a 10mm tube, and it'll slide more comfortably and drop in. We've changed the shape of this piece here so that it drops in. You can just twist it in and it goes in so beautifully. Oh, you want to go the other way? Yeah. Yeah. All right. So we are really excited about, we've solved all of the issues. The 2020 clamps have a smooth cam action. They have a spring that as you open the lever, pushes the clamp jaws apart. I think almost all of the clamps have got that this year, right? What we've done is we've built a mechanical lock. So as that jaw opens, the finger bolt can't move away from the jaw. So the way you set it is the way it stays. We've got the alignment arrow. We think it's a really nice feature. We love it about the reacher poles. They always look gorgeous in every photo. And it's nice when you put your pole away that it just lines up every time. I know everybody loves that feature. It's got no pinch zone, so we've dealt with that, and it's got high flow tube runner. From today, any of you that order any reacher pole, we will give you a free upgrade to the 2020 clamps as they come out. Right, so you'll see them today. They're in store for you to buy tonight, but they'll be delivered around. I think they're ready for dispatch. They've come out of the mold. I saw them today. But we just got to polish the mold a little bit on a couple of spots and things like that. So I think we're looking at about December the 21st on that one.
Attack marks.
Oh no, I want to talk about out of round. Like, why do we stay with round poles and the clamps are round and everything like that, and why we've not gone with out of round? The enemy is, for somebody who has a traditional broom style brush, is that they're putting a massive rotational torque on the pole from time to time. So you want to go an out of round, right, is to make sure that clamp doesn't slip. But with the evolution of constructor brush and side to side, we introduced the same principles that Willie introduced with the wagtail, right? Is putting a swivel on the top of on the front of the tool. And so if you think about it, if every time you twist the pole, the brush moves, And the brush has got a surfactant, which is called water. So the brush has got no load on it on the glass. So the point of trying to deal with rotational torque, I think, is a legacy problem. People are bringing it from the past and putting it in the future as if it's amazing, instead of getting rid of the rotational load, the rotational torque load on the pole. They've kind of made the pole so it doesn't do that. So in my opinion, you know, and the more of you that move towards, well, you'll see it tonight, radial, right? Then you don't have to worry about rotational load, because you get that pivot right, you get that swivel right, and it's just like, you know, there's no load on that clamp at all. So it's really, really valuable. Okay, so that's 2020 clamps.